Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're tackling a topic that literally hits home for millions of us: raising kids alongside pets. We're going to unpack the real medical and psychological data behind the risks, the rewards, and, well, the whole shebang. We've got some fascinating ground to cover today, so let's jump right in. So, should your child actually grow up with pets? It's kind of the ultimate question that keeps expecting parents up at night, right? Look, if you're a parent, your mind probably jumps straight to all those totally valid anxieties. You're worrying about allergies, unexpected bites, nasty worms, and, just general infections. You might even be stressing about pregnancy risks if you have a cat. And hey, those are incredibly common fears. But what actually surprises most people when we dig into the data is that growing up with pets might actually make children healthier, more emotionally resilient, and substantially better at social interaction. Crazy, right? Because here's the absolutely crucial point. The real challenge isn't the pet itself, it's managing the risks. The presence of an animal is just a neutral fact. How you handle it is what makes all the difference. Our goal with this explainer isn't to scare you away from animals. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. We're entirely focused on education and empowerment, so you can make your home safe and just incredibly rewarding for both your kid and your pet. Section 1. The unexpected benefits. Before we get into managing the physical risks, we really need to talk about the profound psychological rewards. Pets bring some absolutely incredible developmental benefits to the table. Things like empathy, responsibility, and attachment. For a young kid, a relationship with an animal is very often their absolute first working model of what it means to care for another living being. It teaches them to look outside themselves. And maybe even more profoundly, pets help children gently understand some really complex, difficult life concepts in real time. We're talking about birth, the process of aging, illness, and inevitably, loss. They truly become one of the most foundational parts of childhood. So it's time to shatter a massive myth right now: the idea that pets automatically make kids sicker. Yes, animals can carry bacteria, parasites, and allergens, for sure. But the reality? It paints a very different picture. In most homes, having pets doesn't automatically mean sicker kids. In fact, a lot of families with dogs actually develop much stronger cleaning habits. They're vacuuming more, washing floors regularly, and just paying closer attention to household hygiene in general. Plus, tons of studies suggest early exposure to animals might actually help lower certain allergy risks. Naturally, you still need to ask if anyone currently has allergies, and make sure everyone is on board with the responsibility. Because, a pet is a family member, definitely not a toy. Section 2. Debunking common pet myths. Let's systematically dismantle some of the biggest anxieties out there. And that brings us to one of the most stubborn myths of all: the belief that pregnant women absolutely must get rid of their cats because of a parasite called toxoplasmosis. For healthy adults, this usually causes zero issues, but getting infected for the first time during pregnancy is a legitimate concern for the baby. But here's the kicker. The biggest toxoplasmosis risk often isn't your family cat. It's actually raw or undercooked meat. Tasting raw ground beef while you're cooking dinner is literally a much higher toxoplasmosis risk than just petting the cat snoozing on your couch. So, if you've already got a cat, getting pregnant usually doesn't mean you need to rehome your furry best friend. You just need some basic precautions. Clean the litter box daily, or, honestly, even better, just use this as the perfect excuse to let another adult in the house handle that chore entirely. Just practicing good, basic hygiene dramatically drops any remaining pregnancy risks. Let's move on to another huge panic point: worms. We all know the scenario. The dog licks the toy, the baby immediately puts that exact toy in their mouth, and cue the parental panic. But listen to this. Most dog parasites are species specific. That means dog worms usually stay in dogs, not humans. Transmission to people is way, way less common than those terrifying internet forums would have you believe. It's all about basic prevention. Just stick to regular vet checkups, follow your vet's deworming schedule, wash hands rigorously, and keep up with strict flea control. Which actually brings us to this highly practical, if slightly blunt, quote from our source material: "If a child is swallowing fleas, worms are not your biggest problem." It's a bit of dry humor, sure, but it hits the nail on the head. If things have escalated to the point where your kid is literally eating fleas off the living room floor, the dog's internal parasites aren't the main issue. Your home hygiene needs some very urgent attention. Section 3. The rabies emergency. Okay, we need to shift gears here for a second. Take a breath and be completely serious. While we've debunked some overblown myths today, this is one risk you must never, ever ignore. Rabies is a genuine, life-threatening emergency. Unlike worms or cat allergies, once rabies symptoms begin, survival is extremely rare. So if a child is bitten by a wild animal, or any animal whose vaccination status you just don't know, these are the immediate, non-negotiable first aid steps. Step 1, wash the wound immediately with soap and running water. Step 2, wash it thoroughly for several minutes. Do not rush this. Let the water run. And step 3, seek medical care immediately. If you know the animal and it can be safely observed, doctors will tell you exactly what to do next. Seriously, do not wait. Do not watch and see. Act. Rabies prevention works best before any symptoms show up. Timing is quite literally everything. When dealing with unknown animal bites, immediate action isn't just recommended, it's absolutely required. Section 4. Hidden risks of farm animals. All right, shifting back a bit. Parents so often assume that tiny, fragile little animals are completely harmless to their kids. But that's not always true. We actually call this the cute threat. Little chicks, ducklings, and other poultry commonly carry salmonella. And kids, they absolutely love holding them. We have all seen those picture-perfect photos of a toddler kissing a fluffy little chick. It's adorable, but kissing birds or touching your face after handling them drastically increases the risk of infection, and that can lead to some really serious gastrointestinal illness. So, the hard and fast rule, after touching birds or farm animals, you wash those hands every single time. Section 5. Preparing dogs for babies. Let's pivot to some practical empowerment for all you expecting parents who already have a dog at home. Listen, preparation shouldn't wait until you're walking through the front door with the baby. Dogs, by their very nature, really struggle with sudden environmental changes. Think about it from their point of view for a second. Suddenly there's brand new furniture, weird bulky baby equipment, loud crying sounds, and entirely unfamiliar smells. That is massively stressful for them. To help your dog adapt early, set up the nursery beforehand. Let your dog explore those new physical objects and get used to the new boundaries in the house. And this is a huge one. Start playing recorded baby sounds before the baby even arrives. Getting ahead of these environmental changes drastically reduces your dog's stress and just makes the whole transition so much smoother. Section 6. Rules for safe interactions. Now we're getting into the clear, everyday medical and behavioral rules for interactions between your kids and your pets. First up, cats. A scratch is not always just a scratch. Cat claws can actually push bacteria deep into the skin and cause serious infection. So you need to actively monitor any scratches and keep an eye out for warning signs, localized redness, swelling, delayed healing, or enlarged lymph nodes. If you spot any of these, don't wait around. Get medical care. Now, with dogs, prevention is everything, and that one's teaching your kids some absolutely non-negotiable safety rules. Number 1, never hug unfamiliar dogs. Number 2, always let the dog sniff you first, so contact happens on their terms. Number 3, never stare directly into a dog's eyes, because they can easily interpret that as a threat. And finally, never approach a dog while it's eating or sleeping. Respecting the dog's personal space prevents the vast majority of childhood injuries. It's really all about building mutual respect. As we start to wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember this. Pets don't raise children. Adults do. Kids and animals can form the most beautiful, lifelong bonds. But those safe relationships don't just magically happen on their own. They require adult supervision. They require ongoing education. And they require strict boundaries. If you bring a pet into your home, it is 100% your responsibility to teach both your child and your animal how to live together safely. And that leaves us with this final, incredibly impactful thought. Pets aren't dangerous. Ignorance is. When adults take the time to educate themselves, to really prepare, and to set those firm boundaries, pets become something truly wonderful. They aren't just companions. They become a defining, beautiful piece of childhood itself. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's one step you can take today to make your home a better, safer environment for both your kids and your pets? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.